live straight away on YouTube.
Oh, it's going out live. Okay, so let me know when you go live.
Go in now. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the next episode of the Golf Chat Show Live. Thank you all for your comments yesterday. Really well received, and I hope you enjoyed the content that we've been putting out every single evening. Today, we have another special guest. We've got Seb from Seb on Golf and #United. A lot of you guys have seen his content across Instagram and on YouTube, so I will leave all that information down below, so be sure to check that out. Welcome to the channel, Seb.
Thank you very much, mate. Very good to be back on. I think I've only been on once before, so yeah, it's good to be back.
We won't talk about what happened when you were on last either.
Oh, we can if you like. It's fine.
No, we won't. We'll leave it. Apart from the fact it's in Mauritius.
Pardon?
Apart from the fact that it was in Mauritius, that's it. That's all we can mention.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, there was a lovely backdrop, if nothing else for you.
So, okay, my first question to you is, I know Rory's come out with some statements about the Premier Golf League and the fact that he's not supported, which is a massive statement. What's your take on it? Do you think it's going to be a good thing for golf, or do you think it's going to ruin the European Tour entirely?
Oh, it's a tough one, isn't it? I can understand arguments in both, to be honest. I love... One thing I've said when talking about this, and I'm definitely not in a for or against camp, I'll be really honest. I'm not either or, I'm still making my mind up. Nothing stays the same.
Yeah.
The Premier League came out of nowhere. The PGA Tour came out of a different tour. Nothing stays the same. Something will change. This could either be the catalyst that starts a load of changes for the PGA Tour going forward, or it could be the beginning of, or it could be the first thing that doesn't happen and then something else like this happens 10, 15, 20 years from now. But nothing stays the same. There's no way the PGA Tour will remain in its current format forever. No chance. I'm not having that at all. Things have to adapt. For example, let's say this coronavirus situation went on for 5 years, right?
Yeah.
All the sports would be in pieces. Now, there'd be a hugely bigger problem with the world than that. And, there's obviously a lot bigger problems in the world with coronavirus than sport. But if we're talking about sport, if all the sports are dead and you reinvent sport from the ground up, there's a lot of games you don't reinvent the same way.
No,
you don't
sure.
invent cricket the same way. These things are hanging on to legacy things. Some of the PGA Tour, the way they shoot the shows, the way they have the tournaments, they're all based on agreements that were made in the 80s and 90s that are maybe just not relevant anymore. So there's definitely a better way of having golf. Do I think the Premier League Golf Tour is absolutely it? No, I don't. I think there's a lot of things in there that it hasn't necessarily got right, and that's probably why maybe it's not going to work out. But there's some stuff in there I love. I love the idea of the team events.
Yeah.
I love the idea of team captains putting people in. I love the idea of the same people playing every single week. I really like that. I don't like how it will probably mean the end for mini tours.
Yeah.
How it's going to basically take even more eyeballs away from the lower down tours. If you effectively the PGA Tour becomes a lower down tour in some people's eyes, if that were to happen. But then again, you look at football. Like there's non-league. How many top elite professional levels of golf do you need? If there's an ultimate Champions League type level, that's just the way of the world. It's not nice. I'm not saying it's my decision, but it's just sort of. I think there's a better product than we've got now. And bearing in mind, I absolutely love the product we've got now, but I think you can make it even better. I think golf needs to continue to move into the new world, and something's going to change at some point.
I agree totally. For me, in my opinion, it's a strange one, this whole concept. I love the team aspect, as you said, but why does someone not want to put more money into, say, creating new talent, so like Challenge Tour, making that better? Because the web.com over in America is so much stronger, in my opinion, in terms of coverage, in terms of sponsorship, in terms of money, than we have over here on the European Tour. Like, I agree about maybe it's got to change up, but maybe making lower tours better. But you could argue like the Championship now is much better than it was, say, 6-7 years ago in football, and giving it a lot more airtime. I think that's a really good way. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree to a certain extent. I think there's so many ideas out there of things you can do. The only thing I will say is that the reason why that wouldn't happen is just because it's just not what sponsors and advertisers will get behind. Because they can sort of get behind that now, and they're just not, right? They're just not doing it. Like, I'm not saying they shouldn't, but they're just not, because it's not sexy. It's not going to guarantee numbers straight away. People want to spend their marketing money or their broadcast money on something that's going to work straight away. So big announcement, including the biggest players in the world, huge money involved. that is what can go from 0 to 100 very quickly. But obviously the brakes have been put on it by some of the players like Rory coming out and saying it's not for them. But yeah, you could definitely argue if you could build golf up from the ground up, make new heroes, you can make them quick enough. Absolutely. And, look at some of the stories we've had this year on the European Tour. People like Sam Valamaki's come out of absolutely nowhere with an amazing performance. Ben Hanley, he had that incredible win. He followed it up. He was looking like he was going to contend Sawgrass as well before that got cancelled. So people can come out of nowhere at the moment, and that's going to probably get harder if something like the Premier Golf League did kick off, because you've got to do a certain amount to get into it in the first place. So, yeah, I would think the purists of us would love to celebrate young, unsung golf talent right now, because goodness me, there's so much of it. It's phenomenal.
I know.
But the reality is a big money golf league is just not going to go for that.
No, and for me, the exciting thing is the fact that you watch European Tour week in, week out, and the PGA Tour, and anybody who tees it up in that event is good enough to win.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. There's guys that if they have a hot week, they can run away with it and shoot a million under par. But what it tends to be the proof of the pudding is the guys that have bad weeks are still enough to make cuts and contend and pocket checks and keep their cards.
Yeah,
that's the difference. They're all good enough. You've done it. You stand on the range at a tour event and you think, oh my God, every single one of these is the best player in the world.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to win, he's going to win, he's going to win, he's going to win. And then you get out on the golf course and it's just that consistency or that decision making or the ability to continuously do it under pressure that's the difference. You're talking about, sometimes if you divide it with 72 holes, like for tiny margins between missing a cut and winning the whole event.
Yeah. So just talking in tournaments, you played in a few pro-ams yourself. Who has been the best player in your eyes that you've played with?
Best player I've played with in a Pro-Am is Martin Keimer.
Okay.
I played with him in the Pro-Am at the British Masters Pro-Am. He was, the thing is, I'm a little bit biased for that because I've always been a big fan of his, but he was such a great guy on the day as well. And, by the hole, they normally are.
Yeah.
But he really took time to, spend time with me afterwards. Like, I played terribly that day. And it's rare that I enjoy myself when I don't play well.
Whoa. Just stop you there. When do you ever play terrible when it means something?
Well, maybe that's what it was. It was only a pro-am. It was a team format, so maybe I wasn't my best. But I was thinning and batting pitch shots all day long. And you got clearly upset because there was quite a big gallery watching us. It was a great course, playing with Martin Keimer. And I was just playing terribly. And he felt so sorry for me that he stayed around for half an hour afterwards, gave me a private short game lesson. It was amazing, and so for me, he's got a high place in my heart forever now, and obviously a major winner. So yeah, he's definitely the one for me.
It's not a bad person to play with. So would he, if you had a dream four ball, would he make that up? Would he be one of those people in there?
I played with him now, so
it's not a dream then, so you can't have him in it.
No, if a dream four ball is a sort of all the golfers ever. I'm probably pretty atypical in that. It would be Tiger. It would be Seve Ballesteros probably. I think he'd bring something to it. I think being Seve's doubles partner would be so much fun.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to be against him in that doubles match, but I think that could be really good. And then for a fourth, he's really struggling right now. I love Jordan Spieth. I love his. The mindset of Jordan Speed that year, he was absolutely flying and was on to try and get all the four majors, and he got two of them. The way he was putting that year, I'd love to see that. That would be there for me.
Because I actually just on Jordan Speed, I was watching the golf 2 weeks ago now, or just before it got cancelled at the Players, and his putting looks still so suspect.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with him, to be honest. The one thing about Jordan Spieth is he's got what a lot of the other ones would love to have, which is the killer instinct. He's got the killer instinct, the ability to show his best under pressure, the need to achieve attitude instead of the need to avoid failure. That's what some of the super talented guys on tour could have 5% of that and they'd be unstoppable.
Yeah.
But what Jordan hasn't got is this really, really reliable golf swing that just is very consistent. Even when he was winning, he was doing so much of his work with his putter and his short game. He's never really been that good a driver of the golf ball. And when he did put it all together for those 18-month spell, he was unbeatable. He pretty much would win or contend every single time he turned up.
Yeah.
But something's off right now, and it's gone on for so long now that I wonder whether it's going to start to eat into even his seemingly impenetrable mind.
Yeah.
Could he even be now starting to feel the heat? Am I really good enough? Was it a fluke? Am I going to get this back? If anyone can battle back, I'm gonna go out there and say I think it'll be him, and I do expect him to make a comeback. It's just when and how long it takes.
So, just on Jordan Spieth again, do you not think because he had such a good year? I think there's some stat when he was 21 and he'd earned 21 million pounds or $20 million. I can't quite remember the stat. Do you think that had affected him? Earning so much money, having so much success early doors is sometimes, even if you don't physically and you don't think you've taken your foot off the pedal, potentially can that be an underlying thing?
I think it must be. I mean, I'd love to be in that position to tell you what it feels like, but sadly, I don't think that's ever going to happen. I can't relate to that for obvious reasons. But I can only imagine, I think he's got a burning fire inside him, and maybe when you've got that many zeros in your bank account, it just dampens that a little bit. And maybe those extra sessions when it's freezing cold or he's not quite feeling up to it, he go and grind it out in the range. I don't know. I don't know this. I'm just literally speculating. Maybe he's not doing that now. Sure. Maybe for someone with a golf swing like him, maybe those extra reps are what he needs. I don't know. I think he's a warrior. I think he's a battler. I think you look at him and you can tell it's affecting him. I don't think he's the sort of guy that loses form and then disappears forever like an Anthony Kim. I think he'll be back, and I hope he'll be back.
Yeah, I hope he is too. When he won the Masters, it was an unbelievable performance. So now we're going to get into your golf game, okay? I had somebody ask me a question. It's 3 questions, really. Do you take lessons? What's your handicap? And what's your best score you've ever posted? And we're going to say best score in a competition, so at your golf club.
Okay, so what was the first part?
Do you take lessons?
Do I take lessons? Yes, I do. Not as regularly as I probably should, but I tend to have maybe, I don't know, one every other month, every 3 months, maybe 4 or 5 a year. I see a guy called Lee Cox at the Shire, but also recently I've been seeing Piers Ward from Me and My Golf, been helping me a little bit. I've obviously had some chats with people like yourself as well. We're at Mauritius about a few things. I am basically a very competitive guy, and I normally tend to have quite a good short game and putting. Normally, I'm pretty good off the tee. I'm definitely not long. I don't hit the ball that far, but I'm normally in play. I rarely lose balls off the tee. So I get myself in play. My real weakness is my ball striking. I have developed a swing that's sort of a bit of early extension, lack of rotation. It's a bit jittery, and that does not produce good ball strikes. All right when you're leaning back and hitting up off a big tee off the tee, and it's all right around the green because it's a completely different skill. But long irons, anything for sort of 150, 160 upwards, I'm just terrible. I do a few things on my channel. I do skills tests, and I normally get off the tee about 1-2 handicap, around the greens about 1-2 handicap, putting about +2, +3, and then ball striking is about 15.
Really? So that's a massive difference. So is that something you've been working on with your coach? Just purely working on? You mentioned early extension. You spoke to me about that. Do you feel it's something you're always going to be fighting against potentially?
I think so. I think we all have our strengths and weaknesses. I've tried a few things. I've tried really focusing on my weakness, so really put some time into my ball striking, and that definitely worked. But then you know what happened? My strengths dropped off. Yeah. I wasn't as good off the tee. I wasn't as good around the greens. I tend to find that I enjoy it. I'm a competitive, so I like being good. So I do the things I enjoy, which is the things I'm good at. So I like hitting balls off the tee. I love short game and putting games and challenges. And it's because I'm good at them. And because I'm good at them, I do them more, so I get better at them. Ball striking, it's not good. I lose confidence. I get annoyed. I get frustrated. So I don't do it as much. I also have a bad back, which you know a little bit about. Yeah. And if I hit too many balls, I do tend to start struggling a little bit. So, that's probably always going to plague me. And then every now and then I'll get a run of golf where I'll play enough competitively with a card in my hand. I'll get a little swing thought that will last 6-8 weeks, and I'll shoot some really low numbers. I can shoot low under par. So that leads me on to your other question. The lowest score I've ever shot is a 66, which is over in Northern Ireland at Port Stewart.
What a place to do it!
That was a 4 under par. It was par 70, bogey free, and that was during one of those spells where I was just had a really good swing thought, a little hip to hip swing thought, nothing too technical. and I'd hit it off the tee. I'd hit it around about the green, and I'd make quite a few putts. My lowest score at an event at my club is a 5 under par, but that is a par 74 at my club, so that's a 69. I've had quite a few 4 unders and 2 unders, but I've never been lower than 5 under. But again, that was a 5 under bogey free. Now, there's 7 par 5s at my golf course, Centurion Club. So if you're driving it well and you've got any sort of good 200, 220 yard club, you're going to have, a good few looks at 2-putt birdies. So it's a good place to go low. If you can get it in play. It's quite tough off the tee, but again, that's not normally a problem for me. So that was they're my best scores. My current handicap is going up. Right now, I'm struggling. My putting's not what it normally is. My short game's been average. My driving has been brilliant. I've got the new Sim driver in the bag, and I cannot miss a fairway with it. I don't want to jinx myself, but I'm absolutely ripping it. But my irons are off again at the minute. So at the moment, the last 3 comps I played in have all been 0.1s. I'm currently sitting 4.4. Literally, only coronavirus to save me down the back to 5.
Oh, that is close to. Is that the highest you've been if you went up to 5 in a long time?
Yeah, it'd be the highest I've been probably in about 5 years.
Wow,
yeah.
Wow.
The lowest I got was 3. I got down quite close to 2. I was flying down. I went down from 5 to 3 really quick, loads of under par rounds, and then I've just been leaking backwards ever since, to be honest. I put a video up today, Alex, where I talked about this. I talked about how I actually think YouTube has ruined my golf game. If you look at my correlation of scores, and you look at when I started my YouTube channel, they pretty much go hand in hand. And it's because before YouTube, all I was thinking about was beating people and being as good as I could, being super competitive, super focused on the golf course. And now, you're thinking about the video, you're thinking about editing, you're thinking about this, you're thinking about the people you're with, are they having a good time? Are you doing this? And I've lost that focus. So I've got all the excuses in the world. I've got that. I've got my bad back. I've got becoming a father. You name it. I've got it. I'll always use an excuse. Definitely not my fault.
Well, all I'm going to take from that is the fact that if I ever take you on a challenge again, I am making sure it's like a mid to long iron challenge, not short game like this time.
Yeah, there you go. I shouldn't have told you that. That is literally, honestly, my Achilles heel. I'm so terrible. Like, if you give me a 4 iron, let's see if we can find the ball, basically.
So, Seb, I've got a question here. It's just come in live from YouTube. It says, hi, Seb, from Max Lane. What was your handicap the first year you started playing?
So, I started playing golf properly. I did play when I was younger, but only sporadically. I wasn't like an actual golfer, just had a go. I properly started playing after university, and I just put myself off 18. I just sort of thought, right, I think this is what I think. I think I might have played 1 round of golf off 21. I don't know why 21. Then I said, look, I don't want 2 shots on the hole. I'm just going to play off 18. But I couldn't do it. I was rubbish.
Yeah.
I didn't get anywhere near shooting it for a long time. But then people say to me that I didn't play. I lost a lot of golf there. But let me tell you, when in my 20s, I played at least 20 years worth of golf in those 10 years. So I made up for lost time, definitely. So I was off 18 for probably a couple of years till I get to it, and then I went 16, slowly down to 16. Then I went in like a few months to 13, and then literally in about 4 months, I went from 13 to 9.
Wow!
Then I had a grip change, and I went from 9 to 6 in a year, and then sort of eked down, and then had a few really good, maybe a good 18 months where I got lower, and that's sort of back to where we are now.
So quite a quick, real come down to where you are, really, in some big chunks.
Yeah, I've had some big chunks. So the biggest thing for me was I got the golf bug massively. I played and I figured out how to get my way around the golf course, which I think is still the fastest way for amateurs to improve.
Definitely. Couldn't agree with that more.
The fastest way for like a 22 handicapper to get better, I think, is 100% decision making. I say to my mates who are getting into golf, I'm like, look, I'm so glad you're into it, but can I ask you a question? Are you serious? Not like in a really like overly boring way, but do you want to get better? Like, yes. And I'm right. Do you actually want to get better? Because if you treat this like your business to improve, you won't go and smash balls off a driving range. You'll go and do short game. So if you're a 20-odd handicap, you'll go and do short game and putting, and you'll learn course management. And if your job is to get better than your mates, that's your sole purpose in life. If you focus 80% of your time on short game, putting and course management, you will improve your scores, in my opinion, so exponentially rather than you will grinding on trying to hit your driver 250 yards off the tee, because you're going to mess it up no matter what. You're a 20-odd handicapper. That's what you do. Like, scratch players mess it up. Like, just go and be good at those things, and I think you'll improve so much more. So that's the biggest thing I learned when I figured out, right, where can you not miss it, and how do you develop a swing where you know where your miss is, and then just get good and enjoy a short game. And every time you miss a green, see it as an opportunity to make an up and down, not, oh no, I'm gonna make a bogey here. But then another little thing I found out quite early on, because I do miss a lot of greens. When I'd miss a green or hit a bad approach shot, as I'm prone to doing, I'd think about it as, right, this par putt is actually a birdie putt. So what I'd do is I'd say the mistake has now given me the bogey already. I haven't physically stroked the bogey yet, but I give it to myself and I'm like, you've messed up there, Seb. That's a bogey. But this par putt now is an opportunity to get it back, and it switches my mindset.
I like that.
No, don't miss this putt. You're going to hit a bogey to thinking this is for birdie. Make it, and it switches from that mindset of needing to avoid failure to needing to achieve, and that's a big thing for me.
I really like that. I wish you'd told me this before. Oh. No, I really like that. I've never heard anybody kind of flip it like in that sense before. That's it. By the way, guys, if you didn't hear that, what Seb's saying there is, anytime you miss a green, basically treat an opportunity to get one back after making a mistake. I really like that.
Was my sound not coming through then? Am I coming through? Okay?
No, you're coming through perfectly. Just someone said, someone else asked again, what did you mean? So just said. Okay, so leading on to the next question. This has been going around on social media. I've seen a few people put up their fantasy golfer attributes. So you have to pick an attribute from each player to make up a fantasy golfer. I want you to give me yours now. So we need putting, we need short game, that's going to be chipping, we need iron play, and we need driving. So 4 different areas. Pick a player for each to make up your fantasy player.
Okay, so I'm going to go driving Rory McIlroy, and I'll tell you why. Not just is he a good driver, but I feel like he's a driver with personality. I feel like he drives the golf ball. Like, he's like me, right? I'm not a big guy. I'm 5'8". He's not that much taller than me, if any bit taller than me. And he hits it so far, and I feel like, obviously, he hits it a long way, and he's a pretty straight driver. But I feel like he's got personality with his driver. He takes shots on, he takes risks. I think he's a really enjoyable guy to watch drive a golf ball. So he's going to be my driving guy. For irons, I'm going to go with Tiger Woods. And the reason I'm going to go with him is because throughout all Tiger's struggles, he's always struggled with his driver, although he's driving a lot better now. He's had a great short game, but he's had his problems with his short game. He's one of the best putters ever, but yet he's had problems with his putter. I don't really think he's ever really struggled with his irons. He's always been pretty much the best guy in the field with his ball striking and his approach. You look at his par 3 stats, you look at his proximity to the hole from around 200 yards. He's the man, right? And he has been for 20-odd years. Yeah. So I'm going to go with his iron play. Okay. Short game, I'm going to go with... it would be someone like Seve Ballesteros. But if we're talking about living golfers, I'll probably go with another guy who I relate to a little bit, in Luke Donald or Jason Day. Luke Donald, because again, he's a shorter hitter, does a lot of his work with his short game, one of the best bunker players in the world. And then I'll go with Jason Day because he's got a bad back, and I always feel really bad for Jason in that he's probably one of the golfers that's been really helped by the coronavirus situation, because his back's in pieces. He's WDing from as many events as he's competing in. Yeah. It's really worrying times. You know, an extended break could be just what he needs, but I think it's bigger than that. I think it's a deep-rooted issue that bad backs don't really go away. I've had one for these 4 years now. You go through periods where they're okay, but they normally turn up again at some point. So I really worry about Jason's ability to play longevity, but my goodness, is his short game fantastic. So I love watching him chip around the greens, and also he's a very good putter as well, but I won't use him for the putting. For putting, I'm going to use someone not controversial, but we've talked about him already. He's terrible form right now, but Jordan Spieth, when he's on, I think he's got the killer instinct. You know, when you see the way he putts so aggressively, so consistently from that mid-range distance, holds more putts than anyone from like 20 to 30 feet. Just when he's on, he's just, you think he can't make another one. I just remember during his pomp, you're watching him putt, and you think, he's made another one. He's made another. What? And you think it's like watching a computer game. It's ridiculous.
I remember that, Augusta.
Jordan's putting, Jason's short game, Tiger's irons, and Rory's driver will do me just fine.
I like them. So listen to this. What do you make of this one? Woodswood87 has commented down below. He's gone Rory for driving, same as you. He's gone Justin Thomas for irons.
Okay.
But then he's gone and he said, don't laugh, Bryson DeChambeau for putting. What do you make of them?
I mean, yeah, I personally would never go with Bryson for putting because I just think it looks so awkward.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Right now, he's phenomenally effective and he's putting very, very well. And he would be one of my massive tips to win the Masters if we were going ahead when we were. I think his game really suits there. I think his sort of strategic thinking really plays into favour there, and he's playing so flipping well. But I don't like watching him putt. I think he looks really upright, really awkward, unnatural, mechanical. It's effective, but I don't enjoy watching it. So, I wouldn't pick him. I wouldn't pick him.
So, you spoke about Rory, and a few other guys have put Rory as their main driver of the golf ball. With him being back at the top of the world golf rankings, do you feel like this Masters was his chance to get the career Grand Slam?
I mean, could well be, but the thing is, I think we've been saying that for the last 4 years. It feels like it's with Rory. It's got to be. It's got to just happen for him. It's probably not going to be one of those because he's going to have so much pressure on him. Look what happened to Port Rush, where the weight of the whole country of Northern Ireland was on his shoulders, and he hit that blood 8 on the first tee. I don't think he deals with it very well, I'll be honest. He's so good. He needs to just have one of those weeks where it just goes for him. And he's a very, sort of, as he's maturing, he's coming into a really sort of philosophical thinker. And I think that's fantastic for his life. I don't know whether it's fantastic for his golf game and for his ability to get into like real history record books territory for major wins. I think he's now probably enjoys his life a lot more, which has got to be his foremost. He's got more money than he'll ever need to spend. Yeah. But I think that his philosophical approach maybe he's taken a bit of the fire out of his belly, and that has made him more enjoyable and he's less anxious, which is great. But I think he's not got that same mindset of someone like a Tiger or a Jordan Spieth when they're out there to kill it and win at all costs when they really get going. I think he's got that in him. We've seen it in the Ryder Cup, but I think at the Masters he's got to just turn up one day and just all the putts go in for him and he'll win by about 7 or something.
So do you think he will win one day?
Yeah, if he doesn't win a Masters, it'll be an absolute travesty.
Yeah, I totally agree. Should have comment down here. I'm guessing you might have played golf with this gentleman before. He's put Seb the Hoover with the putter. Jamie Richards.
Jamie Richards, Richo, Mr. Energy himself. Yeah. I don't. As I said, we talked about it earlier. When I'm playing well, that's probably the best part of my game by far. All the best stuff I've done in my golfing life has been through good putting. It's a bit cold right now, Richard. I'll be honest with you, mate. The flat stick's gone a bit cold. I need to get out in the garage now. I've cleared that out this week and get working on the short stick again.
I've been witness to that, Hoover, as well. So just going on to the next question I've got written down here. The best and your worst golfing moments. Now, these can be, I want you to pick your best and your worst, if you can, playing in a Pro-Am.
Playing in a Pro-Am? I was going to say the Trilby Tour stuff, my best.
Yeah, okay, use them as well. So competition.
That's just a... Say again?
We'll say competition then.
Okay, competition, would definitely be the Trilby wins. Broadcast live on Sky, 3 wins under pressure in the playoff. Richo was involved in a few of them. That's where I originally met him on the Trilby Tour. So playing my best stuff, certainly with the putter, to win those events was great. But lowest moment in golf, goodness me. I mean, when I was really, really, really competitive, it would really affect me when I had a bad round. Like I'd come off and I'd be in a bad mood. Like I wouldn't be nice when I get home. I'd be upset. I'd be annoyed. It would really affect me. Not only for a day or so, but I'd be in just a terrible mood all day. Since I've become a father, that hasn't really happened anymore. Because you come home, I'm greeted by Nelly, and she gives me a cuddle, and she doesn't care what I shot today. And it's like, why do I care so much?
Yeah.
What's the big deal? And I feel like that makes me a lot more enjoyable person to be around. But it's hurt my golf game because it was that fire that led me to be, to get a little bit more out of my game. Very much, we're only talking about silly amateur competitions here anyway.
But that's what majority of people play.
Yeah, my worst, I don't know. I mean, I felt pretty. It's awful. I feel silly saying this because it's such an amazing experience to play at a big pro-am like the British Masters Pro-am, even though I was playing so badly. Like me and Pete Finch, we went up to the old course last year and we played there. And oh my god, like one of the best golfing experiences I've ever had. But I played terribly. I remember I nearly missed the fairway on the first, like inches into the fairway. That's one of the biggest fairways in golf.
I'm going to say that. That's impressive.
I know. I completely chunked a pitch shot. Then I bladed a pitch shot through the back of the 18th green. I bladed a ball out of the road hole bunker, nearly hit a walker, passed by. But I was playing terrible golf. But I had a great time that day. So I can't really think of any one particular time other than just that, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I'd get really upset when I played bad. They really wind me up and put me in a bad mood. So just any time I play badly, really.
I'm the same. I am so. It literally can ruin my day.
It's awful, isn't it?
Oh, terrible. Last 2 questions for you. I like this question, actually. I had a young guy comment on the story saying, if you had any advice for a young guy starting up a football YouTube channel, what would it be?
Oh, a football YouTube channel. What's the name of the question? Who's the questionnaire? Let
me find it on here. Give me 2 seconds. You have to go through me. It was. You caught me off guard here. I've just written them down.
Sorry, mate. I wanted to make sure it wasn't somebody I knew from hashtag winding me up or something.
No. I checked it. It was a young guy. It was a young.
Oh, right. Okay, fine. So, to be honest, what would I say? I would say you've got to really, really want to do it for no other reason other than just doing it. Because football, particularly, like golf is now, but it didn't used to be.
Yeah.
Football now is such a competitive space online. There are so many people making football content all over the world, in gaming, in real life, in commentary, in every single asset, and massive companies doing it as well. Hugely high production values, lots of creative people with already big numbers. So to break out, I don't want to sound discouraging to somebody, but to break out now is very difficult. What you will really struggle with is if you just start making the same content as has already been made by other people that have already got a head start on you, they're already more experienced and have already got more following. It just won't get picked up. You've got to do something different. You've got to take risks, and then you've got to persevere with it long enough to get enough people to see it because it's unique and different.
Yeah.
And the only way you're going to do that is if you love it, because you're going to get bad numbers. You're going to get low numbers on your channel, low views, low numbers of followers. And if you're being motivated by followers or by views, then you're going to struggle because you're just going to give up before you get a chance to find out what your true potential was. So you've got to do it purely for the love of making the content and interacting with any people, whether it's 2 people watching, 200 people watching, or 2,000 people watching. You've got to love doing it just for the sake of it, because if you don't, you won't be motivated to keep going to the point where you can break through. So thinking about YouTube now is it's become, this big thing where some people make a lot of money from it. Not everyone does, some people do.
Yeah.
And therefore a lot of people get into it and think it's like some easy career. You're a very hard worker on YouTube. You can tell the amount of content you make on your vlogging channel, on your main channel, on your Instagram. I know how much work goes into making that much content, so I know how much work you put into it. Some people think we're just messing around with the golf and the camera and living the life right. Don't get me wrong, it's very enjoyable. A lot of hard work has to go into it, and you clearly are someone who enjoys that as well, because you keep coming up with new ideas, keep progressing your content, and you're adding value to people as they're watching it, helping them with their golf game. So got to enjoy that side of it. And that goes even more so in football, as I said, because in football there's just so much competition. So you've got to be prepared to do it for a year, 2 years. Even my brother's got over 2 million followers on his main channel. He did it for years with hardly anyone watching, but no one watching. 10 views, 20 views, but he loved doing it. And that was back then. It's even harder now. So going with no expectations, going just for the love of making the videos for yourself. And if you do that for long enough and you're making good original content, you will eventually get picked up.
Love that. Really honest and truthful thing about actually YouTube. I think you said there, people actually think it's quite glamorous, and obviously it's great. I'm not saying it's not, but it's a lot of hard work. Final question, and I really like this one. This has come from YouTube. If you were playing around a golf, okay, what club would you leave behind if you had to leave behind just one?
So I just leave it in the car?
Yes, you couldn't take it out with you. What club would that be?
Oh, long iron. Just get rid of the 4-iron. See you later, mate.
Get it out there.
Get rid of that thing. I just play a slicey hybrid if I had to take a bit of yardage off it. I just lose the 4-iron. I struggle with it massively.
Fair enough. I'd be the same, to be honest. I'm not a fan of the long irons as such. Seb, thank you very much for coming on tonight, and thank you very much for answering all the questions.
Mate, it's an absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me on. Really glad you're going to be involved in this little isolation invitation. We're going to be doing this golf thing.
Exactly.
Hopefully we might even get drawn against each other. You never know.
Definitely. So, guys, please keep posted on the next few weeks. In the next coming weeks, Seb has got a big announcement coming. So please make sure you go over to his YouTube channel, follow him, because we have a big announcement for a. Actually, I'll leave it for you to give the introduction to that next week.
Sounds good, mate. Yeah, just in short, it's going to be an online golf tournament on a golf computer game called WGT for all the golf content creators. Myself, Alex, people like Rick Shields, Peter Finch, me and my golf, you name it. James Robinson, there's a list of about 20, 30 of them. Maybe even getting a few tour pros. We're talking to a few tour pros today who are keen to get involved. So, yeah, watch this space.
Absolutely love that. Thank you guys for watching today's live stream at 7 p.m. I will see you again tomorrow.
Cheers, guys.